Mossad, Israel's renowned foreign intelligence service, holds a legendary status in the world in which it operates. Established just over a year after the founding of the State of Israel on May 14, 1948, Mossad's initial members consisted mostly of Israeli Sabras, native-born Jews, and Holocaust survivors who flocked to the region following World War II. During the time it was known as the British Mandate for Palestine. The service, officially known as the Central Institute for Intelligence and Special Operations, or Mossad Merkazi, le-Modiin, ule-Takfidim, Meyuhidim, has two primary, albeit often unspoken objectives: safeguarding the State of Israel and protecting Jewish individuals both within Israel and abroad. To fulfill these objectives, Mossad has undertaken numerous extraordinary operations, some of which have made headlines, while others remain undisclosed, many of which likely straddle the line of legality from the perspective of much of the world. Accusations of assassinations, kidnappings, physical and psychological torture, and more have been leveled against Mossad, occasionally even by Israel's allies. Mossad was officially founded in December 1949, following a period in which Jewish groups fighting against Palestinians and occasionally the British played a crucial role in the aspirations for a Jewish state in Palestine. The largest among these groups was the Haganah, meaning defense in Hebrew. Its formation was a response to a Palestinian uprising against the British and the Jewish minority during the 1936 to 1939 period. The conflict between Jews and Palestinians has a long history, stretching back for millennia. However, a significant pause occurred after the Roman expulsion of the Jewish people from their homeland around 70 AD, which resulted from yet another Jewish revolt against Roman rule. The term diaspora is commonly used to describe the forced displacement of the Jewish people, as well as other groups compelled to leave their homelands due to coercion or economic reasons. In the late 1800s, Theodor Herzl, an Austro-Hungarian Jewish journalist, spearheaded the Zionist movement advocating for a Jewish homeland in Palestine. By the early 1930s, a considerable number of European Jews had immigrated to Palestine, driven by the desire for their own state and the increasing anti-Semitism prevalent in Europe. Initially, there was a small Jewish population in the area, and they were generally seen as posing little threat by the Palestinian Arab majority. However, the dynamics changed when waves of Jewish immigrants arrived in the 1930s and again after World War II. Prior to and during the war, a fierce guerrilla conflict unfolded between the Jews and Palestinians in the British Mandate. In 1948, following the end of the British Mandate, this conflict escalated into a regional war known as the Israeli War of Independence, or the Catastrophe from the Arab perspective. The war pitted the Jews against Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and the Palestinians, ultimately resulting in an Arab/Palestinian defeat. The intelligence branch of the Haganah consisted largely of amateurs, although a core group of experienced fighters and foreign European intelligence operatives ensured that these amateurs rapidly acquired necessary skills. Recognizing that the Haganah was composed of primarily non-professionals who would return to civilian life after the war, David Ben-Gurion, the first president of Israel, ordered the establishment of Mossad. It became evident to him and many others that a dedicated intelligence agency was required to prepare for the inevitable future threats against the new nation and its citizens. The other components of the formidable intelligence triad are Shin Bet, the domestic counterintelligence and counter-terrorism agency, and Amman, the military intelligence of the IDF, Israeli Defense Forces. Mossad quickly earned a reputation as one of the most effective intelligence services worldwide. Israel's close relationships with Western European countries, driven by their determination to prevent another Holocaust and protect Jewish people in Europe and the volatile Middle East, greatly assisted Mossad's efforts. However, the agency's strongest ally was the American Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, which provided training, equipment, financial support, and crucial information. Despite their close cooperation, both the CIA and Mossad had their primary objective of safeguarding their citizens' interests and respective nations. Consequently, there have been occasional tensions between the two agencies, notably exemplified by the case of Naval Intelligence Officer Jonathan Pollard, who was discovered to have leaked U.S. secrets to the Israelis in the mid-1980s. From 1949 to 1960, Mossad silently carried out its operations, gathering intelligence from around the world, with particular focus on its hostile Arab neighbors who vowed the destruction of Israel. However, it was not Mossad's intelligence gathering and occasional actions against its neighbors that captured worldwide attention. It was the capture of Adolf Eichmann, often referred to as the architect of the Holocaust. Eichmann, a former Nazi SS officer responsible for overseeing the logistics of the Holocaust, had been living rather openly in Argentina, a military dictatorship with a sizable German minority. Under the pseudonym Ricardo Kleiman, Eichmann felt relatively secure while working for Volkswagen. He had been residing in Argentina since 1950, successfully evading capture in Germany since 1945. Following intelligence leads indicating Adolf Eichmann's presence in Buenos Aires, Mossad agents embarked on what would become one of the most renowned operations in Mossad's history. After carefully monitoring Eichmann's activities and recognizing his predictable routine, Mossad and Shin Bet agents apprehended him on the street. They swiftly transported him to a secure location where he was interrogated before being sedated and covertly transported aboard an Israeli El Al Airlines plane back to Israel. Eichmann faced a highly publicized trial broadcast worldwide, during which he was found guilty of crimes against humanity, resulting in the only death sentence ever handed down by an Israeli court. Eichmann's capture and subsequent trial elevated Mossad's reputation, earning the agency respect not only from other intelligence organizations but also from individuals in countries hostile to Israel. In 1972, the Palestinian militant organization Black September, affiliated with the Palestinian Liberation Organization (PLO), carried out a devastating attack on the Israeli Olympic team in Munich, Germany. This event was part of a broader campaign of guerrilla warfare and terrorism conducted by various Palestinian groups against Israel, motivated by the establishment of Israel and the ongoing plight of the Palestinian people under Israeli governance. In response to the Munich massacre, Mossad launched Operation Wrath of God, a long-term mission aimed at hunting down and eliminating individuals connected to the attack. Codenamed Bayonet, the Wrath of God team embarked on a global hunt, employing tactics such as bombs concealed in phone headsets and targeted commando operations. Over the years, they successfully eliminated those involved in the Munich massacre, including the mastermind, but not without incidents such as the accidental killing of an innocent man in Norway, which led to criticism and temporary setbacks. Another significant operation involving Mossad was the 1976 Entebbe raid. Mossad provided crucial intelligence to the Israeli Defense Forces, IDF's paratroopers, who rescued 103 hostages held captive in Entebbe, Uganda, following a hijacking by anti-Israel terrorists from Palestine and a radical German leftist organization. The successful rescue mission garnered global attention and reaffirmed Mossad's reputation for audacious operations. Mossad, known for its secrecy, has been involved in significant covert operations that have shaped history. One prominent example is the Stuxnet cyber attack, which targeted Iranian nuclear facilities. Widely believed to be a joint effort between Mossad and the CIA, the operation disrupted Iran's nuclear ambitions by infecting their computer systems with the Stuxnet worm, causing significant setbacks. In a surprising revelation, it was disclosed that Mossad had utilized the notorious Nazi commando Otto Skorzeny. Skorzeny, given a choice between cooperation or death, reportedly carried out operations for Mossad. Although some attributed deaths remain unconfirmed, Skorzeny's collaboration with Mossad sheds light on the agency's strategic alliances. Throughout its history, Mossad has operated in the shadows, orchestrating operations with both successes and occasional setbacks. And that concludes our episodes today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below and give us a sub to stay updated on our daily updates.